All right, ladies and gentlemen, so we are going to look at another advanced skill for kettlebells and something that we can integrate into some of your workouts later down the line. Now, you may have already watched my video on how to swing correctly and how to make sure you are using a hip dominant, safe swing that is not going to overstimulate your lower back and cause you injury. If you haven't already watched that, go and watch that, because the swing is the basis of so many kettlebell movements, and it's really important for you to learn how to do right. So watch it, watch it, watch it again. The same message is true with this one. You need to master this skill before you start trying any of the advanced techniques. Okay, today we're going to work on the clean, kettlebell clean. Now, essentially, we are going to be mimicking two movements: a squat, an explosive squat, and basically an upright row. But what we're going to learn how to do is rack that into what we call a kettlebell clean. Now, the first thing first is we need to make sure that the wrist position, hopefully, if you've watched my other videos, your wrist position, you understand where the kettlebell needs to sit. Now, we've spoken about it briefly before, that the kettlebell position needs to be across your hand like that. You see how it's sitting diagonally across my hand? When we rack the kettlebell, our knuckles, you can see the line of my knuckles here, is directly underneath my chin, and the body of the kettlebell is sitting in that triangle cavity I've left in my arm. Okay, so that is our end position for almost all movements, or our rack position when we're using a kettlebell. Okay, very, very important. Something I see an awful lot is it's not out here. Okay, I see that all of the time. I even see some coaches teaching that. That is extraordinarily dangerous for your shoulder. Do not hold a kettlebell out here. When it is in a rack position, your knuckles rest underneath your chin. The kettlebell is racked in the cavity in your arm. Safety. If someone has taught you otherwise, not to disrespect them as a coach, but please disregard it because it's silly. Okay, rack the kettlebell here. This is where it finishes with nice strong wrist. Now, what we are looking at when we do a clean is we are going from this position, same as an Olympic clean where you come into here, but with a kettlebell, we are going from a squat position. We are going to explosively raise the kettlebell. So we use the movement of our feet and our hips to lift the kettlebell quickly, like that, okay? To lift the kettlebell extremely quickly, but at the top we're going to rack it into this position. So the first things first is you need to make sure you understand that position. You drop your elbow into your side. Your knuckles are underneath your chin, so get used to that. Knuckles underneath your chin, elbows into your side. We know that this kettlebell needs to land there every time, okay? And what you'll see is it's just a rotation of the wrist. Okay, very simple rotation of the wrist. But because we have generated so much force from the floor, the kettlebell is essentially going to have its own weight. We just need to move our arms underneath it, okay? So, from this position, for me personally, I find it easier to have my thumb facing my body when I'm doing a clean, so that I can generate some twisting force on the kettlebell to have it rotate around my wrist. So, the first step we're going to move towards is step one, practice this. Counterbalance yourself, get that kettlebell, and just stand up. Really simple. Don't do anything else with it. Stand up explosively, almost like you're trying to jump. Okay? Stand up, just like that. So practice that, both arms, because you will find that your favored arm is going to be able to do this a lot more easily, because neurally you can deliver more drive to that side. You are more coordinated. So practice, 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 just a simple squat. Once we've done that, we're going to look at the squat to the explosive upright row. Now, we're going to try and get our wrist somewhere towards our face. Don't hit yourself in the face with a kettlebell, that would suck. I take no responsibility for those of you who do that. But now we're going to take that standing movement to a more explosive one where we use our upper body as well. Bang, bang. Okay, straight up. See how my elbow is coming up above my head? My wrist is settling somewhere around the side of my face. Bang. So get used to that again and again and again. Explosive. Okay, once we've nailed that, we are going to look for the rotation. So what we do at this top point, the kettlebell, under its own momentum, should keep itself there. We're going to rotate and essentially push the handle. We push the handle back underneath itself. So my end position, if I were to do it in slow motion, is about here. The kettlebell is going to be trying to carry on up, okay, because I've generated so much force. Bang, it's trying to come up here. At that point, I push my hand underneath it and come into this rack position. Okay, so it's coming up, bang, it's carrying its own weight by this stage. I rotate the handle and push underneath it. So it settles in that cavity, my knuckles are underneath my chin, and the kettlebell is in a safe position, not damaging my rotator cuff, okay? So let's put them together. Do 3 reps of just a squat. Bang, bang, bang. There, then we do 3 reps with the squat and the upright row. Bang, elbow high, bang. Get used to almost letting go of that kettlebell at the top. 3. Now, we take them and we are gonna push the kettlebell underneath itself. Bang, straight into that rack position. Knuckles finish underneath my chin. Kettlebell is sitting in the cavity of my arm. Back over. Up, bang. See the quick rotation. Up. Very, very simple. When you get good at this, you can do this for 20, 30, 40, 50 kilos. It's highly metabolic, challenging your entire body. So, practice again. 1, 2, 3, and then 3, rotating the bell under. 1, easy. 2, easy. 3, and notice at the top, when I'm pushing the kettlebell back over, what I'm essentially doing is lifting my elbow up and throwing the kettlebell back over on itself. I'm doing the reverse of what I did when I was bringing it up, okay? So when we're bringing it up, we go up and push under. When we're going back, we just do the reverse. So, bang, bang, bang. Really simple, okay? Now, you're gonna need mobile wrists. Remember to get that rack position nice and safe. Knuckles underneath the chin. Kettlebell sits in the cavity, not out here. Then we can move on to all sorts of advanced maneuvers once you've picked up that movement. So, watch this video again. Do exactly the same on your other arm. Repeat it again and again and again and again until you feel completely comfortable and this feels safe. One thing I will say, if you are doing this with too light a kettlebell, you're not going to get it right. You have to be using a relatively challenging kettlebell. Otherwise, what you're going to do is you're going to fling it too high. You're not going to have any control. You need some weight on that kettlebell in order for you to not be able to throw it up too high. Safety first. Always get that rack position right. Practice that. Look at yourself in the mirror. Get the row of your knuckles directly underneath your chin. And the kettlebell always sits in the cavity between your chest, forearm, and bicep. It does not sit out there. That elbow needs to be tucked and your knuckles need to be on the chin every time. That is the clean, the basics of. Master it just like the swing. Until you have those mastered, we can't move on to other movements. What we do progressing from this is we will go to a clean and press, and eventually, when you've got these movements down, we go to a snatch, which is very, very advanced. So you must get this right, be proficient in it, master it, be very, very stable before we move on. Good luck, and remember, comments in the box below.